Oh, hello out there. My name is Tony, and I haven't made a video in a while, book reviews, so I thought I'd make a couple of them real quick. And it's really cold here, by the way. So I got my hat on and my thick coat, or what this shirt is. It's getting cold everywhere. We're gonna have a cold winter here in Oregon. It's getting below zero at night. Okay, first book. I was gonna do a really long review of this one, going into depth and everything, but I won't. It's a good book. Okay, this book here, Joshua Levine, his Secret History of the Blitz. It's yet another book on the Blitz and the Battle of Britain. Yet another one. So you're probably thinking, great. Well, yeah. I mean, I've only read 7 or 8 of them. If you're a military history or a World War II fanatic. I mean, what do I have to read now? Actually, that's why I want to review this one. This is actually pretty good. It actually has some information that I didn't know. I mean, look at my bookshelf. I've got probably about 7 or 8 books over there about the Battle of Britain and the Blitz. And it's had new stuff in it. Stuff that a couple of stuff I'd heard about, but I really didn't get into depth in. It's well written. The stuff that I was talking about, it has a chapter on the oilmen of the Sherwood Forest, and that's something I did not know about. That there was actually American oilmen where they went to Oklahoma and they hired oil workers to come over with some of their equipment to work in Britain, because of course Britain it was 1940 and they were desperate for oil. It was probably kept on the down low because they were American. They were American citizens, American nationals with American equipment, directly supporting the British war effort at a time when the United States was nominally neutral. Yeah, I know about the battle of the undeclared battle in the Atlantic was going on, but yet this was another thing that they probably wanted to keep it on the down low, because if the Germans got a hold of it, Goebbels got a hold of it, they could have made, Lord Haw could have really had fun with it. So that's one thing, that it was indeed a secret. Now, I really didn't hear about that before. I didn't know that the involvement was that much, that they actually had American oil crews directly supporting the British war effort, extracting oil in and around Britain. Another thing is, there's usually a chapter about crime in the time of the Blitz, because of course it was kind of out of control and people were just running around like Walker in Dad's Army. But this one was really interesting. His chapter on crime was really interesting. He focused on crimes that were directly involved, or the Blitz and the Battle of Britain directly involved. And it's really interesting. He covered one where a guy said his wife ran off, and then a building nearby was bombed out, and they found a skeleton in the basement, or a mostly decayed body. And the forensics at the time, the forensic doctors at the time could prove that was that guy's wife, and he got sent up. And it's interesting. And there's a couple of cases where he talks about soldiers that cracked. They came home, found their wife with another man, and used their service weapon to end it, or end everybody. And it's really interesting, because he went out of his way not just to say, oh yeah, there was black market, and oh yeah, they were, people looted and stuff, but he went out of his way to make his chapter on crime and punishment applicable to the subject, and stories I really hadn't heard. He also has some other good ones where he talks about some of the humor of the time, some of the lessening of morals, of course, that went on, and there was a couple of jokes that he reproduces in here that made me literally laugh out loud. They were funny and naughty. So I highly recommend this for any fellow history buffs, or if you're into World War II, because even though if you've read a couple of books about the subject, there's probably going to be something new to you in here, and interesting. Okay, that was fun. The second one is called The Unknown Eastern Front by Rolf-Dieter Muller. And I believe it's been translated from German, but the translation is very good and readable. Sometimes I get a book that's been translated and it is so dry and unreadable that I just have to put it aside. Unfortunately, I got one like that. It had been translated from French about Nazi societies in France and stuff like that, but I just couldn't read it because the translator just, oh dear. But this one was translated well. It's well written. It regards volunteers that helped the Nazis during World War II. So in this book, they're going to talk about like the Waffen-SS, volunteer brigades, the volunteer divisions. They talk about things like Leon de Grelle. He talks about all sorts. It's a good source for that subject. If you're interested in that subject about soldiers and movements in the occupied territories, it covers almost every country. There's a section, the Allies, which covers Finland, Hungary, Romania, Italy. The volunteers from neutral and occupied territories, France, Belgium, Norway, etc. And then even the Eastern European nations that the Germans occupied. Some people did join the Germans, even though they weren't very nice to the people they occupied. So this is a very good source. It reads very well. It'll be interesting to anybody into this sort of thing if you're into military history or World War II. So I can heartily recommend this. And that'll do it for today. Thank you for watching my little video. And have a good day and stay warm. Because it's going to be a cold winter, I think.